I spent so much time this year dwelling in things that were not, instead of rejoicing and being in gratitude for the things that were. Hello, howdy, what's up? I have not made a video in a really long time, and I feel so bad about it because I have been creating content and really wanting to share it, but my computer wasn't working, it didn't have enough storage, all hope was lost. And then I got a new MacBook Pro, and now I'm gonna be able to download the software I need to make, edit, create, and post videos, and I'm so excited. It's 2020, Happy New Year. In today's video, I just kinda wanna touch on a life update here in Maui, 2019, going over all that madness, and then 2020, what I'm looking forward to, what some of my resolutions are. So a life update, I've been here a little over 3 months now. It really is awesome to be here. Maui's a place where you come here and it feels like your life is put on pause. Everyone else on the mainland, all my family and friends in California, I feel like they're constantly moving and shifting and changing, and their life is going at such a fast speed. And my life here is just on pause, and I can kind of sit and like reflect and do what I want and not be in the hustle and bustle that I kind of grew up in and came from, I guess. It's just been this like amazing reflective opportunity to kind of I mean, it sounds cheesy, but to really like look inside myself and find out what I want and what I care about. And I came here kind of searching for answers, and I came here trying to get away from a lot of problems that I was having. And not that coming here solved any of those, but it just allowed me the space to kind of work through those things instead of having to tell and act like everything was okay. I've been able to really look inside myself and really figure out what was going on, instead of just dwelling in like the pain or like dwelling in the unknown. With that being said, I started working. I'm working at a restaurant as a food runner. I should be moving up to be a server soon, hopefully, because I need the money. But I'm still living in the 1-bedroom with Sean, my cousin. It's a little, like, we call it our little beach shack. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of new furniture, and we've rearranged pretty much everything since I've gotten here. So I'm gonna do a house tour and show you guys my living situation. But I'm pretty much all settled in, which is really nice. At first, it felt like I was on this big, like, long vacation, and I was like, okay, when is this gonna end? But now it's really like setting in that I live here. This is where like I'm starting and doing life. I shipped my car from San Diego, which that I almost had a mental breakdown. I did have a mental breakdown when that happened because it's so expensive to ship your car from the mainland. In total, it was like $2,000 to ship my car, get it registered, get the safety check, and all that jazz. I just had to kind of like I said, click pause, understand like this is a good step towards like living here, creating my life here. And now that my car is here, I'm so happy, because before I would have to rely on Sean to take me places or the bus system. And then I've been going to a church here. I found a church home that I really like so far. I've made a few friends, and I auditioned to be on the worship team, which is really exciting. I used to be on the worship team at my home church in San Diego, and it was just something that really connected me to the church and connected me to God. I love worshiping. It's been awesome, and I auditioned last night. I performed for the first time. They told me they would love to, move along in the process, so that's really exciting, getting connected. And yeah, that's been my life update. 2019 recap. I just feel like 2019 was a shitstorm, honestly. The interesting thing is I was telling someone this the other day. I was like, 2019 was not my year. I'm so looking forward to 2020. And they were like, Haley, wait, you accomplished so many things and had so many good moments. And they proceeded to list 5 things that happened in my life over the year that were pretty amazing and pretty like incredible. And that's when it clicked in my head that not only just social media, but the way people perceive our lives is so different than the way we perceive our own. I'm sure if you looked at any of my social media or, you know, had an interaction with me during 2019. I mean, I'm a very positive person. I really like giving off positive vibes. I like making people's day. I like acting like everything is okay. And that sometimes that's just not the case. 2019, I got to go to Stagecoach Festival, which is one of my favorite concert festivals, country music. I got to be with my brother and his girlfriend, Jamie. Shout out, Jamie, my sister-in-law. I went to Seattle with my best friends. We went on a girls trip. First time to Seattle. It was awesome. I graduated college and got my bachelor's degree, which is, I mean, it was just so amazing. I remember starting college and thinking that graduation was so far away, and now I'm graduated and it's just insane. So much has happened, but I graduated with a Bachelor of the Arts in International Studies with a minor in Spanish. I moved to Maui, which some and pretty much all would say is very incredible. You know, those are some amazing things that have happened in my life in 2019, and things that I won't forget and that I will always remember as good memories. But with that being said, there were a lot of obstacles and hurdles in my way. I think mostly in my mental health capacity. For the first time ever in my life, I just felt so stagnant and so stuck. And it was this feeling of I didn't want to tell anyone, or I couldn't tell anyone how I was feeling because I didn't understand it myself. I'm someone who I feel like can articulate myself very well. I know how to talk about my feelings and I know how to convey my feelings. I'm a pretty good communicator, but for the first time ever, it was just like these such strong feelings and such strong pain, and I didn't know where it was coming from. Now, being in Maui and having this, you know, these few months of self-reflection, I've been able to kind of figure out certain things, and I know that I was repeatedly putting myself in situations with people who weren't good for me in 2019. I was repeatedly giving certain relationships chances that I knew would not succeed, but I was so hopeful and so willing to please others that I was willing to put my own self-care in jeopardy to fulfill this fantasy that was never going to happen. The biggest thing that I learned is that self-care and self-love is so important, and I thought that I had this mastered, but it turns out there were so many insecurities within myself that I didn't even realize I had, and I was just stuffing them down and stuffing the feelings down and covering it with friends and partying and staying busy all the time. My idea of not hurting was to stay busy and to stay happy and to put on this front. And man, my self-love really was affected. I just got to this point where I just like didn't like who I was. I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like the way I was feeling. And I know, and I've known that the way you feel is a choice. The way you react to situations is a choice. And 2019, I reacted so poorly to a lot of the things that happened in my life, a lot of the lost relationships, a lot of the hurt that I was feeling. I chose to react poorly and to react out of anger and sadness. I just was at this low point where I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to feel any different than this, which for me, my mantra has always been no feeling is final. If something isn't going to matter in 5 years, don't worry about it for 5 minutes. But I spent so much time this year dwelling in things that were not, instead of rejoicing and being in gratitude for the things that were. It really just took away from my self-care and my self-love, and my confidence dropped, and my happiness dropped. And I am so glad that I am someone who can recognize that. When you dwell in something like that, it's really hard to pull yourself out of it. I'm thankful for 2019 and everything it taught me. I'm still working through some things. There are still hurts and relationships lost and things that still I wake up and think about every day, but I'm thinking about it in a new way. With that being said, I want to talk about 2020. 2020 is going to be the year. I started this whole first week of the year really being conscious of what I'm grateful for and asserting what I want for this next year. I just want to talk a little bit about that and looking forward what that looks like. I know that resolutions can sometimes be a little wonky. People make resolutions and they don't keep them and they beat themselves up for it. And that's usually because people make resolutions that are, and I do this every year, I am going to blah, 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 blah. I am going to blah, 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 blah. Those kind of statements are so future oriented, and something that I'm learning for myself, especially because I'm like the number one procrastinator, is I need to assert and create affirmations and resolutions that are in the now, that begin now. What I have decided to do for the year is to create one assertion a week. So assertion, I'm not saying that word, assertion. I'm so sorry. I went to college. It's fine. So once a week, I'm creating an assertion for my life and using that as sort of an affirmation to apply to all things. Every single day, I'm writing something that I'm grateful for. It's really been making me feel so much more uplifted and so much more able to deal with the day-to-day things. And like I said, I still have these pains and these hurts from 2019 creeping in, and every time I start thinking about those things, I'm using these affirmations and these gratefulness tactics to kind of ward those feelings off, because like I said, at the end of the day, you control the way you react to situations, and you can control your emotions. You can only feel what you allow others to make you feel. I just wanted to share my week one assertion or affirmation, and I actually got it from this book that my parents got me. If you haven't seen this is pretty much everywhere. A lot of people are reading it. It's called Unfuck Yourself, Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Life by Gary John Bishop. I'm only like halfway through almost, and the first assertion that he talks about is the one that I created for my first week of 2020. His was I am willing, and so I kind of made it my own. Here it is. I am willing to allow some things and unwilling to allow other things into my life. The willing and the unwilling is so important, because sometimes you're not willing to do things. Sometimes things are so hard, things are so far out of reach, things are so seemingly unattainable that it's easier to say that you're unwilling to do the opposite. Sometimes it's hard to say, I am willing to be happy every day, right? That's hard. You can't really be willing to do that sometimes because you don't know what's going to happen in your life. But you can say, I am unwilling to sit in sadness and disappointment every day. And that sort of shift kind of changes your mindset. And so when I think about things that are going to cause me pain, or because I do this thing where I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I do this thing where a thought pops into my head, and all I do is replay that thought over and over again and build off of it and turn it into the worst situation ever. I create false ideas and false opinions based off of my own hurt. So when that happens, the statement that I've really been repeating is, I am unwilling to keep believing this. I am unwilling to stay in this place where this is my reality. I am unwilling to allow myself to replay this over and over again. So yeah, I'm just really excited for 2020, and regardless of what happens this year, I think that it's going to be a lot better than 2020 or a lot better than 2019 for me, just because I'm in a better mindset and I'm committed to loving myself and to loving others and to being not as happy as I can be, but having as much joy as I can. Because joy is not about your circumstance. Joy is about your state of being, and it's about taking the good and the bad and creating joy and creating these little moments from that. Yeah, I hope you got something from this video or enjoyed it at some capacity. I just wanted to come on here on sort of a personal level and share with you what's been going on in my life, because life is not black and white. Life is so colorful and has a range of emotions and layers and all this stuff, and you are not alone if you're feeling this way. And I think that that's something so powerful and important that social media sometimes fails to do, is to show that people struggle. Life is not great all the time. Life is not one big highlight reel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're looking forward to the future of this channel and to your 2020 and your personal journey. Let's do this, all right? Okay, have a wonderful day.